I'm pretty sure by now most people saw the media circus behind OJ Simpson's parole hearing. Now, as long as I've been living, I have never seen television cameras inside of a parole hearing for anyone in this nation. But OJ Simpson, we all know from the case back in the 90s, that's when they started putting television cameras in courtrooms, and that was a drama that we all watched every single day for sure back when I was in high school. Well, we know OJ Simpson came up for parole, and the parole board set OJ free, but here's that video.
OJ Simpson, now 70, walking into that hearing room, slimmed down, relaxed, and easing into that seat.
And Mr. Simpson, will you please give me your NDOC number for the record?
1027820.
The tension in the room behind that little blue door at the Lovelock prison broke in almost immediately.
That you are currently, well, very recently turned 90 years old. 90, I'm sorry about that. You look great for 90. How about we take 2 decades off and call you 70?
In answering why he robbed his friend, memorabilia collector Bruce Vermong, and another man in 2007, Simpson seemed to relitigate the 10-year-old crime with a flash of anger.
So you believe that the property was yours?
It's been ruled legally by the state of California that it was my property, and they've given it to me. I have it.
That drunken night earning him an up to 33-year sentence.
I know that alcohol was a factor in the instant offense. Have you addressed this issue as you stated you would?
Well, you know, I think I made it clear back then, I've never had an alcohol problem. I don't think anybody's ever accused me of having an alcohol problem or any kind of substance problem. Of course, on that day, I had drinks on that day, but it was a wedding celebration.
Simpson making a point of saying he took courses in prison called Alternative to Violence.
I've basically spent a conflict-free life. You know, I'm not a guy that ever got into fights on the street and with the public and everybody.
By all accounts, Simpson had been a model inmate here. In fact, the Hall of Fame running back making the case he was one of the best ever prisoners here.
I don't think I could have represented this prison. I don't think any inmate has ever represented it better than I. I did my time. I tried to be helpful to everybody.
Then his eldest daughter, Arnell.
He truly is remorseful, and we just want him to come home so that we can move forward for us, quietly, but to move forward.
Then the first tears from Simpson as his accuser made a plea on his behalf.
This is a good man. He made a mistake. And if he called me tomorrow and said, Bruce, I'm getting out, will you pick me up? Juice, I'll be here tomorrow for you. I mean that, bud.
Simpson in his seat, tears of gratitude. And then the critical question for inmate 102-78-200.
And do you think you can be successful with the terms of parole?
I'm not a guy who lived a criminal life. You know, I'm a pretty straight shooter. I've always tried to be a good soldier.
The result never seemed in doubt, even with the elephant in the room, Simpson's acquittal for the murder of his ex-wife, Nicole.
And lastly, I'd like you to know that we received hundreds of letters of support and opposition. And while we always encourage public input, the majority of the opposition letters are asking us to consider your 1995 acquittal and subsequent civil judgment. However, these items will not be considered in this case.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
And his last words, the closest he comes to a full apology.
I'm sorry it happened. I'm sorry to Nevada. I wish Ricio had never called me. I thought I was glad to get my stuff back, but it wasn't worth it. You know, 9 years away from your family is just not worth it, and I'm sorry.
In the end, the decision unanimous, read one by one.
Considering all of these factors, my vote is to grant your parole effective when eligible.
And I concur with Commissioner Korda and grant parole.
I concur with Commissioner Korda and agree to grant parole.
Mr. Simpson, I do vote to grant parole when eligible, and that will conclude this hearing.
Thank you.
Now, when OJ was set free, and it was unanimous, as you heard on the video, There was a lot of people that were very upset. First of all, let's talk about the Caucasian-owned media. They were pissed off that OJ was released on his parole. He should be eligible to leave October the 1st. They were bringing up the case from the 90s, kept referring to that case constantly. But you have to remember something, and black people, listen to me. When it comes to you and what happens to you, with a lot of these race soldiers killing you, and they come up back with verdicts, letting them go, what's the first thing they tell you? Well, you need to respect the system, respect the verdict. It's the law. You may not always get what you want in a court case, but it's based on the evidence and facts, and you wasn't there, and so on and so forth, right? This is what you are told. But when it comes to them and they lose a court case, oh no, they're going to talk about it forever. They're not going to respect the law. They're not going to respect the verdict. They're not going to respect anything. They are sitting on media outlets calling OJ Simpson a murderer. I heard them over and over and over again. And if I was OJ Simpson's attorney, I would tell him this. I strongly advise you to sue every media outlet that called you a murderer, because remember, OJ Simpson had no prior convictions until this robbery case. So he was no different than anybody else. You can be accused of something, but if you're found not guilty, then you're free to walk. You're good to go, right? That's how the system's supposed to work. But we know that they don't want that system to work in the favor of the black man or black woman of America. Now, understand something. I grew up in that time period of the OJ Simpson case. And that case was highly racialized from the get-go. You had the most rabid racist in America that was a detective named Mark Furman. They caught him saying all kind of racial slurs about black people, talking about planning stuff on black people. So much so that when Johnny Cochran was bringing it to him on the stand, he had to plead the Fifth Amendment. Now, Caucasian America don't talk about that at all. But yet I saw Mark Furman on Fox News talking about OJ's case today. If anyone's responsible for the loss of that case, it's that rabid racist Mark Furman. And yet they still let him be on TV talking with that situation. But it's okay. He go along with the status quo that's in America. So every day that particular case was on TV. I remember when the verdict came down, and I was sitting in my classroom at the time in high school, and they stated that OJ was not guilty. It was a celebration all over the school that OJ was innocent. And I remember that time period, a lot of the Caucasians, they were salty about that. And you could clearly see the divide with that particular case. It was very polarizing for the whole country at that time for that case. Now, understand something. When you see black people celebrating about OJ or laughing about OJ, it's not that OJ has been a pillar of civil rights or OJ has defended the community or any of that stuff. OJ is just a representation of when the system comes after a black man and the black man actually beat him at their own game one good time. And OJ did that. And they never got over the loss they took at the hands of OJ Simpson, Johnny Cochran, F. Lee Bailey, I think it was Alan Dershowitz, I'm trying to think of all the other people that was on that case. My mind's blank. You know, of course, Robert Shapiro, they kind of faded him to the back. But he had a lot of good people on his team that helped him win that case. So they never liked what happened after that case. They never liked also that case wasn't predominantly white. They paid attention to that because Johnny Cochran knew how to pick juries, and he understood if I got a predominantly white jury, it's not going to help my case. Matter of fact, black people today, it's not going to help your case. That's why they try to strike black people from the jury as much as possible, because they know that Caucasians have a bias towards you, period. The bias has nothing to do with being in the Klan or a Nazi. It's just a bias they have against you, and they've been raised with this bias their whole life, inundated with it. And a lot of times, some of them don't even realize how biased they are against you as black people. It's just really pointed out to them. So Johnny Cochran was very smart with that notion. Now, OJ, he got in that trouble with that robbery. He shouldn't have done any of that. And he knows that's stupid. I'm pretty sure you saw in the video, he recognized all that stupid, but the guy that he robbed forgave him. He let it go. His daughter was up there talking for him. And OJ should be set free. See, these Caucasians that wanted OJ to die in prison because they felt that he won on them. He got away with killing 2 white people. And oh, hell no. Hell needs to be paid because no black man in society is supposed to be getting away with that, because we start letting that happen, it's going to just change the whole scenario in this country with the power structure with black men, what they could and could not be doing. Doesn't matter how many Caucasians kill Caucasians, doesn't matter as long as a black person don't do it or even accused of doing it. Now you look at Bill Cosby, he's another one. His trial ended in a mistrial. Caucasians was pissed off about that as well. They're trying to get Bill Cosby on another case in California and want to retry him again in November with the same case. So understand something, that they don't like taking L's at all, this Caucasian supremacist system. They want black men under the jail, destroying their legacy, taking their money. And it's just how a lot of them roll, as you can see in society. And you understand something. It's not just the alt-right, or it's not just the Nazis or the Klan. It is the whole society at large that is responsible for these sentiments. The media, if you saw the situation with OJ as of recent, they all was mad, all implicated in this stuff. They work in hand with the race soldiers. All of them work hand in hand against black people. And at times, I literally hate that my eyes has been open. At times I thought about that. If some years ago when my eyes wasn't open, and some of you who said you used to love my channel back in years ago and you don't know what happened. My thing is, when my eyes are open, I had to start speaking different. When my eyes are closed, things sometimes are better for me when my eyes are closed. I didn't see all the things that I see today, and it literally sickens me to my core at what I see in this nation, how these people move and how these people operate. But OJ, he should, in my opinion, fall back into obscurity. I feel that OJ should go with his family, be a grandfather. That's what I would do. I wouldn't want to be involved with nothing. Matter of fact, OJ, I wouldn't give none of these media people an interview at all. None of these Caucasian media outlets need an interview from you. It don't matter how much they pay you. Don't interview with them. Don't do it. I'm telling you, they're going to twist your words. Remember, all these outlets been having Fred Goldman on there talking about OJ, and not one time have they told them, can you forgive OJ? No, they don't say nothing about forgiveness when it comes to Caucasians. They only tell that stupidity to black people when a race soldier kill someone in their family, and black people, unfortunately, are silly enough to even answer those questions. I don't know why we do that, because they never do it to Caucasians. But I just thought it was quite funny just seeing all the tears going on about OJ. I'm like, what did OJ do to you? He didn't do nothing to you personally, but it's about being on code with them. That's what it is. And he's just one of them that got away, and they just can't stand that. And so it make a lot of people who really don't support OJ in the black community start supporting him, because you're pissed off about it. You're mad that he's got out on parole. Nothing you can say about it. Respect the system. It's the law, remember? You have to just go along with it. We have the best legal system in the world. That's what you tell us. So don't get mad about the best legal system in the world letting a man off on parole that got way too much time in the first place for something that most experts would say that the judge was just going after him for the previous case. And she even admitted that later in the interview. She should have been removed from the bench. She should have been disbarred at the same time, and OJ should have been given another sentence on appeal, period. He shouldn't have even allowed that to be going down once those interviews came out from that particular judge, because we have these judges that are running around too, not just the race soldiers doing what they want to do with people, which isn't right. You're supposed to not judge people for a case that had nothing to do with that one. There was two unrelated incidents, and then he was found not guilty. So there's no reason for you to bring that up. That's only if he was found guilty of that. OJ, I just kind of hope you stay out the limelight, brother. That's it. And OJ, if you want a place to interview, possibly, if you ever see this video, you can always come interview here. We won't twist your words. We'll let you say what you want to say in its entirety. We are not against you. We are always for the community. But if you interview with any of these Caucasian media outlets, understand you're interviewing with the enemy. So you're going to get really what you deserve with them, because they hate you. They're calling you a murderer. I seen it. All of them are calling you names, from CNN to MSNBC, Fox. All of them are Fox News now, if you really want to call it what it is. Every last media outlet are not for the black community, and surely not for you being OJ Simpson. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about OJ being set free on parole. Share the video, like the commentary, and subscribe for more news stories.